Dan from Mission Hills.
Hi, Dan.
Hi.
How are you?
Hey, Dan.
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, I'm not doing great. I'm sitting in my car, drinking a glass of wine, and I just found your show,
Wow.
and I think there's a reason I found your show.
You know what, Dan? I think we are your burning bush.
There is no coincidence.
Yeah, that's
What are the chances?
Yeah. So what's going on?
You know, and I believe in destiny and fate, and I didn't expect this tonight, but I just drove back from Santa Barbara. My son just started school there,
Wow.
UC Santa Barbara, and I pretty much drink every night, and it's starting to, I'm losing my focus on what's important and what I need to do with him and my job, etc. And I don't know. It's an interesting coincidence that I found your show, and I didn't want to call. Of course, this is really scary, but I'm calling.
No, it's amazing.
Great.
Very glad you did. Very glad you did.
First of all, let's just make sure something
You're not
right
driving.
away. Don't drive. Or
Are
you just
driving,
drinking,
or are
hiding
you
in your car, or are you drinking and planning on going somewhere?
Well, I'm a couple blocks from my house.
Okay. Are you driving and and talking, or are you parked?
No, I'm parked.
Okay,
I'm
good,
parked.
good.
Okay. So, what are the consequences that have been going on recently? What are the internal or things are starting to slip in your life, or what's happening that you're?
I'm not doing well in my job. I'm not keeping up with my responsibilities there.
Yeah.
I had a hard time. I was supposed to see my son on Friday, drive up, and I didn't because I just didn't have the energy. I was kind of out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
ended up driving up on
Dan,
A lot of
Saturday.
consequences.
one of the big things about alcohol is it's a depressant. And so if you're feeling down about some changes or things going on that you don't like the way life is going right now, and you're feeling bad already about it, the alcohol will enhance that feeling. So I'm kind of wondering, have you tried to stop it all or slow down?
I have in the past, but not in the last year. I have not been successful, and I do have a psychiatrist, and it's interesting because that was exactly her suggestion, was to stop for a couple of weeks, see how you feel, and I've been unable to
Well, then that's a
turn that
different thing.
corner. I just.
Well, here, Dan, treating alcoholism with a psychiatrist is like going to a gunfight with a knife.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because psychiatry is great, therapy is great, but it's not the only. You need more. You need to stop.
You need to remove yourself
Yeah.
from your own environment, and so either through you could go to meetings, or you could go to an outpatient program, or join some support groups. I mean, you have to remove yourself from your day-to-day life because whatever you're doing now is not working.
Yeah.
That's
Let me ask you something. Has your son ever mentioned you're drinking?
Not directly to me, but he has mentioned to Mommy a couple times in the past.
So he's mentioned it.
Yeah.
so
And-
people are starting to notice the shift in your behavior, or
Yeah, yes, and I think he's a really intelligent, he's 17, but I say he's 17 going on 30,
mm-hmm.
and he's very intelligent, and he's very loving. I think he probably kind of has an inkling or feeling about it, but he is just being the good son.
And it's not just that. He could see the mood. You just mentioned something very interesting, Melody, is that, by the way, if you just tuned in, you're listening to KLEAN Radio. We're on the phone with Dan, who's in his car right now, drinking a glass of wine, and oddly enough, he turned on the radio and we were on. But I want to talk to you. You said alcohol is a depressant, and I don't
Yes.
think a lot of people look at it like that, because when you first start drinking, it's great.
Fun.
Actually, there's a couple of guys who have great tapes out there called Joe and Charlie, and
Yeah.
they said that when you have that first drink, it's like rocket fuel. Well, let me tell you something. Normies don't have that feeling. My sister has this little sip of wine, and she's just fine and relaxed. There's that charge, but over a period of time,
Yeah.
you're starting to affect how the brain is working, and it works as an antidepressant.
And it's the total reverse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And part of that's the sugar, too.
Yeah.
The sugar crash that comes from it. So if you're already struggling at a certain point in your life, then this is exacerbating those feelings. And I guess my big question for you is, When you think about who you are when you're not drinking and you think about who you are when you are drinking, which guy do you like better?
Good question.
Obviously I like who I am when I'm not drinking, but I can't find the willpower to
stop.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Dan, you're in the area. You're in Mission Hills. That's not that far away from here. I want you to make me one deal. Okay, that's before anything. I'm going to give you a dare, and you have to accept it.
Okay.
You walk home, or I will gladly pay for you to get a taxi.
Wow, that's a tough one because I'm not that...
I know. But Dan, I'm worried about you. And I have no idea where you are, so it's not like I could do anything about it. But think about it.
I think I can. Well, I can make it home. I'm not that because I'm just like I said, a couple blocks away. But I just got to find. And I've been to meetings before, and on and off.
But you just haven't been ready.
Yeah.
And the question is, what are you willing to do now? Do you want to go to? I don't know.
There's a lot of options. But do you want to take action towards changing your drinking right now? Do you want to take action in stopping it, or at least trying to stop it for at least a couple weeks? With the help of someone?
How about a couple days?
I just can't find the strength within me to do it, or the rationale, because my self-esteem is pretty low, and I'm...
Dan, let me ask you a question. You sound like a really intelligent guy. Okay? If your car broke down on the highway, right? You're driving on the 134 or the 101. Your car breaks down. How are you going to get the car to the service station? Are you going to push it, or are you going to call AAA?
That's funny, because it happened to me recently, and I first tried to get the tire, my tire blew, and I called AAA right away. And you're right, I am intelligent, and I hate to say this, but I have a master's degree, Master's of Science in Psychology.
Wow.
So
right.
That kind of...
And right now, I'm sitting in the studio with two geniuses, and then me. And they're both doing amazing things with their lives. I've met some of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps was started by one of the greatest proctologists at the time in America and somebody that essentially created insider trading on Wall Street, which was Bill Wilson. You're talking about absolute geniuses of industry. So this isn't, you can't, and this goes to a lot of things. Self-knowledge avails us nothing.
And
willpower, because this isn't a matter of willpower.
Or your character as a person.
Look how much you've done. You're not a weak-willed person. You've made it through tons of schooling. So obviously you have this thing that's, sometimes it's like, it's okay to say, I give up.
And you can reach out for help. And I think this is where you're at right now if you found us. So
Dan, I'll tell you what. Are you on Facebook?
Yes, I am. But it was hard getting on Facebook, but I did it for my son because, kids, it's good to keep in touch with your children through Facebook.
Without a doubt.
In a lot of ways.
So I'm going to ask you to stay on the line. Rand, our producer, is going to give you my numbers. He's going to give you my email information. And if you call me tomorrow, we could do this thing one day at a time. Okay? I don't mind if you email me, you call me when we try to figure out a solution so that we're not thinking about 2 weeks in front of it now. Let's just worry about Monday.
Right.
And if you're cool with that, I'm cool with that.
And where are you guys located? This station? I don't even know what station I'm listening to.
You're listening to to everybody out there. Thank you. You're listening to KFWB News Talk 980, or also people out there listening to us on Extreme Talk 165. But we're also on the web, and this is why it's important. Go to KLEANradio.com. That's clean with a K, and all our info is there.
And we're in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we're in Los Angeles. We're literally 2 minutes away from you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we're all based here, and we have great referrals.
No, she's bi-coastal. Don't,
We have someone here that's bi-coastal, but we have a good referral.
Yeah.
We have referrals all over the LA County area.
It's just really because, I don't know what I'm going to do from this point on, just like you don't know what I'm going to do, but just making the call and reaching out was...
huge.
It's courageous.
Huge
Very proud of you.
I'm sweating. It's like it was a big thing, and I don't even... Part of me doesn't even know. I mean, I know I need to do it, but it's like unexplainable to actually call them, talk to you guys.
It's amazing, and that's
awesome.
what's called destiny. Destiny, Dan. But listen, stay on the line, and I beg of you one more time, walk or wait 30 minutes before you drive home, or an hour, and Rand will offer you any amount of money for a cab ride home. He'll actually even come and get you. That's what type of guy Rand is. But Dan, stay on the line, okay?
Thanks for calling.
Good luck,
Thank you
Dan.
guys so much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. That was awesome. If you just tuned in,
Wow, that was crazy.
Dan is obviously going through an inciting incident in his life. He's been, the drinking was working. It had to have been working. And that's what drives me crazy. Drinking was fun for many of us.
Absolutely.
Drugs were fun, but then they stopped.
Well, you turn a corner, and as time goes on, too, biologically, we are, it gets worse and worse as we continue to drink.
Especially with alcohol,
many levels.
the liver starts getting. But there's also this depression that I find with the chronic drinkers and alcoholics. This depression that sets in, and you actually start believing that your life has no hope, and because you have no energy to try and make it change. I just want to say to him, think about what it would be like to sit in your car and have all this obsession with having to have a drink lifted to you. If you actually woke, in 2 seconds it was gone, and you never had that craving again, that is possible.
And that's the hardest thing,
possible.
because in the moment you're in, I always say to people, remember the day before you came in, and remember the day
Always
you came
remember
in.
it, yeah.
But it's that day before, that pure hopelessness of...
But you have to remember that, because what you were just talking about, that's the ultimate freedom, is to have that lifted, to have that obsession lifted from your mind. And there's nothing better. And I see it day to day, and it's possible.
Yeah.
And so for people like him, I just hope he knows
it's
that.
without a doubt, 1,000,000%.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? KLEAN Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to KLEAN Treatment Center, that's clean with a K, cleantreatmentcenter.com.